Assalamualaikum, this is QISTINA reporting from the COVID-19 Assessment Center. Recently, a massive amount of information is floating all around social media, claiming that consuming garlic will treat the illness. Such information is unverified, misleading, and also fake. The message has been widely shared by hundreds, if not thousands of times. However, the message is fake, and there is no evidence to show that garlic waters do protect humans from the coronavirus. The spectrum of harm caused by fake news is extremely broad. Along with COVID-19, we also have been infected with this infodemic, which is bombarding us with tons of fake news. Fake news can be defined as malicious act, which the act was in curating news, information, data, or even in the report. The information can be wholly or partly fake. The fake news may appear in any features. For an example, we got visual and also audio recording. It can also come from an idea, suggestions, where the person is telling false information. The information given could potentially create fear, misunderstandings, or even disrupt peace. Legally, freedom to speak itself is a limitless boundary for any individual to express themselves. However, the burden of responsibility is on the legislators to restrict and control the freedom only to the extent which absolutely necessary, where the information spread is in order to achieve the purpose objective. Legislator needs to be deliberate in approaching any regulation of fake news. Regulating fake news inevitably will raise up question of censorship and potential infringement of the fundamental freedom of speech. That's all from me. Back to the main news.
Thank you, Anis. Good day. I am RUQAIYAH from TV7 News. The issues about the disseminations of fake news has become a highlight topic in Malaysia in 2018, where the Prime Minister at the time passed a bill to gazette an act known as Anti-Fake News Act 2018. However, due to the elections in May 2018, the act has later been repealed by the new government. But although the act has been removed, we have sufficient laws to prevent false information from spreading. Those who are posting misinformation can be arrested under Sections 233 of Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. It states that any person who knowingly creates, makes, or initiates the transmissions of any comment, request, suggestions, or other communications which is obscene, indecent, false, menacing, or offensive in character, with intentions to annoy, abuse, threaten, or harass another person, or initiates a communications using any application service repeatedly with intentions to annoy, abuse, threaten, or harass, were considered commit an offense. For example, sharing and spreading fake news, especially news related to COVID-19 on social media and WhatsApp, is an offense under Sections 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. Apart from that, spreading fake news is an offense under Sections 505 subsections B of Penal Code, where it's provided that whoever makes, publish, or circulates any statements, rumors, or report with intent to cause or which is likely to cause fear or alarm to the public or to any sections of the public whereby any persons may be induced to commit an offense against the state. Due to that, police have opened 40 investigations paper in connections with fake news posting about COVID-19 on the social media since last January 25 until yesterday. Bukit Aman Criminal Investigations Department Director Datuk Huzair Muhammad said of the total, 11 cases were charged for an offence under Sections 505, subsections B of the Penal Code for making, publishing, or circulating any statements, rumour, or report with intent to cause or which is likely to cause fear or alarm to the public. Subsequently, Sections 8A Printing Press Publications Act 1984 denotes that where in publications there is maliciously published any false news, the printer, publisher, editor, and the writer thereof shall be guilty of an offence. Despite not having a fake news act to sentence someone from spreading false information, These laws are used by the authority to prevent people from creating an even more alarming situation than what it is at present. Moving on, let us hear some opinions regarding the disseminations of fake news from the Vice Chairman of the Malaysia Communications and Multimedia Commissions, Ms. Nur SYAMIMI, and a legal expert, Ms. Koay Xian.
When we talk about fake news, we must looking on the person who may be liable for disseminating the fake news. The person who liable is the person who intentionally disseminates the fake news, knowing that the news was indeed false information. Here, the intention element is an important element because there is an exception and in a penal code which stated that the person is not liable for the offense if the person disseminate the news believing the news to be true and without any bad intention. For example, if the person disseminates a news that garlic can be the cure of COVID-19, believing that the news is true and with a good intention just to spread the knowledge, the person is not liable for the offense. However, if the person disseminates the news, knows that the news about garlic to be the COVID-19 cure is a false information and with a bad intention, the person is liable for the offense. The next things that we must know is what happened if there is a fake news, the procedure, the investigation. So in the situation where a news claimed to be fake, it will investigated by Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, Cyber Security Malaysia, and Royal Police Malaysia, RPM, using a specific method such as computer forensic and many more. And after all of this evidence been found, the prosecution will make a court claim against the suspect according to the provisions. However, the investigation take a long time in order just to find the strong and solid evidence, because if there is no solid and strong evidence, the offense cannot be decided by the court. It also challenging by the prosecution to find the evidence, since many fake news was spread through the fake account or account without names. And that's the challenge, and that's it from me. Thank you.
Fake news is a problem not just in Malaysia, but in other countries as well. The disseminating of fake news has become all too common on social media, and people tend to share the fake news without first checking the fact. And as we know, someone who created the content of the fake news would definitely be responsible and can be punished under several laws in Malaysia. For example, the Penal Code, Communication and Multimedia Act, Printing Presses and Publication Act. And it has become a question that why would someone who shared the fake news will also be equally responsible as well? So let's say 700 people sharing the fake news means that 700 people can be sued. And the rationale behind this is that even though you did not directly contribute in creating the content, you have contributed by becoming a postman for it. And in this sense, your intentions of sharing the fake news has come into play. The court will determine whether there was a deliberate action on your part in which you purposely shared the fake news to make someone look bad or to intentionally create fear to the public. And it's important for you to note that claiming yourself did not know about the law is not an acceptable defense in the court. You cannot say that you are just reposting what someone else has said, or you are not responsible for what the original poster has said. And some people may ask, if I include the disclaimer by saying that I don't know for sure if this is true, but I'm just sharing it just in case, and will this disclaimer help you to escape from the liability? So the answer is no. You may still be facing the inconvenience of being arrested and detained for your post, and you may still be remanded for further investigation. You have the freedom to write or share anything you want on the internet, but this also means that you are fully responsible for the consequences that are coming from it. So before you share the news, try to employ some common sense and try to take a moment to consider your intentions and the possible consequences of sharing the news. Ask yourself these few questions before you share it. Whether or not this is true, why are you doing it, and whether the things that you are going to share can have a negative impact on someone else. If yes, please stop yourself from sharing it. And also, try to have a quick fact check on the Google or site like Snopes or Sebenarnya.my to prevent yourself from further spreading the fake news. If not, the responsibility of spreading the news is the one you have to bear. Be critical, be responsible, and stop spreading the fake news.
Thank you, Ms. SYAMIMI and Ms. Lee. As regards to this issue, the offender of this offence can be liable for the punishment that has been provided by the law if he or she has been found guilty for disseminating fake news. The offender can be charged and punishable under few provisions, and one of them is under Section 505 of the Penal Code, where it imposes imprisonment for up to 2 years or a fine or both if the offender intentionally makes, publishes, and circulates any statement, rumor, or report that is untrue that can cause public mischief. Thus, the society needs to be aware of the problem of spreading fake news so as not to get involved in this criminal offence, which is punishable in that section 505 of the Penal Code. Not only that, the offender can be sentenced under Section 233 of Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, where the punishment is imprisonment for a term not exceeding 1 year or a fine up to 50,000 ringgit or both for sharing of menacing and offensive posting, and also be liable to a further fine of 1,000 ringgit for every day during which the offence is continued after the conviction. Therefore, this is a warning to the public not to spread false information through any internet platform, especially social media, as it is an offence under Section 233 of the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. Last but not least, the offender also can be punished under Section 8A of Printing Presses and Publications Act 1984, whereby the offender shall, on conviction, be liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to a fine not exceeding 20,000 ringgit or to both for publishing and importing of printed materials, including documents, newspapers, books, periodicals, and other publications that has malicious and fake content. This can help in restraining the printing and circulation of unlawful, undesirable, and malicious publications to the public. All in all, the offender of disseminating fake news is punishable for imprisonment or a fine or both if they are found guilty under the provisions. By imposing such punishment, it can give awareness to the public about the offence of spreading fake news. Thus, every individual should be more careful in sharing and disseminating news. That's all of the news today. Till we meet again at the same time and same channel. Thank you for your attention and wishing you have a good day ahead.